A very good afternoon to all of you. This is Ashwini Kumar here, Ashwini Kumar Kota. Welcome to this webinar on e-induction for effective employee onboarding. I'm glad to see that on an afternoon post lunch, I have a very good attendance here today, almost a house full, a packed house today. To get things warmed up, I hope all of you could get comfortable with your widgets on your screen. You can see there are certain tools you can use. You can chat with me. You can send me a message, and you can also do a show of hands. There's a hand symbol over there. Normally, all of us are used to doing seminars. Whenever we do seminars, we say, are you listening? Are you understanding? How are things? We do connect. But in a webinar, we do have electronic support for us. So just to start up and warm up on things, how many of you are with me right now? A show of hands. Those of you who can hear me, are participating, attentive. That's cool. I can see quite a few hands popping up. Few more if you're finding or figuring out where the hand symbol is. It's right on your widget panel. Just click on the symbol and the hands come up. Very good. In the next few minutes, probably about half an hour to 40 minutes or so. Fantastic. I think I've got a complete hands up right now. Great. Nice to see a very good turnout. In the next half an hour to 45 minutes, I'm going to run you through e-induction for employee onboarding, effective employee onboarding. And during this period, to make it very interactive, because there's no point in me running a webinar without interaction. If it has to be a canned presentation, I might as well put it online. So your participation is going to be of utmost importance to us. And while we're doing it, what I would want is we'll do some show of hands. I'll be doing some polls with you, wherein I'll also be discussing certain points. If you have any queries, thoughts, feel free to connect with me, ask me things you want, and we'll coordinate very informally. It's not a formal webinar. On that note, let's start forward. Those of you who know me as Ashwini Kumar Kota. I've been running a couple of companies for quite a few years now. My first business was Synergia Consulting, which is still running in change management. Excel Pro happens to be my company in e-learning, in corporate e-learning. And what do we do here? Just a couple of things, very important. We specialize in employee induction. That's the kind of a webinar we're doing right now. E-induction of any kind. We do induction for employees, for channel partners, for members associates, and quite a few people. And along with e-induction, we also are into the business of corporate e-learning. We are not into schooling and education. We are only into corporate e-learning. We come from a background of corporate training. So if you have any e-learning requirement or thought, we do connect on it. Also, at this point of time, the webinar is totally focused on education or discussion about e-induction. So I will not be using it as a sales call. I've got a couple. I got a gentleman saying about the audio quality not audible from my side. I got a full microphone showing here. Please check your audio sets in case the audio is not so clear with you. Okay, we are located at Mumbai and Bangalore. We got two offices, one in Mumbai, one in Bangalore. If you happen to be in any of these locations, we can be in touch with you. Alternatively, yes, this is the e-world. So let's do the e-way. If you like to know more about my company, that's Excel Pro, feel free to visit us on excelprotraining.com. That's our site. You will see some interesting demos about the various work, what we do. With that little brief about me and my company, I won't bore you with the details. Do Google up my name to know more about me. Look up my company to know more about my company. And here we go, launching full steam into e-induction. So when I talk of e-induction, what exactly is e-induction? It's a very important point. E-induction happens to be nothing but an induction with an E. That's it, an induction with an E. So what does it mean? If you know what an induction program is, and if you're into doing your induction programs in the organization, when you're given the electronic tinge to it, you use technology, you use electronic technology for effectively inducting your employees. That's all that is there to induction. It is not rocket science. It is not something which is an out of the world experience. It's just that how well can we use technology for effectively onboarding our employees. When I talk of induction, I'm sure some of you are already using induction. Most of you might be jumping onto it in the next few months or sometime now. Before we talk of induction, this world of e-learning has to be understood, because if you're not into e-learning, e-induction might be a little off mark for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a quick poll right now. We're going to do a poll. Here it comes. So how many of you are currently using e-learning in your companies? All you're required to do is Yeah, click on it. The more you click, the more I know. Another 10 seconds more to go. Okay. I see a very good voting. Thank you for being attentive. That's fantastic. Pretty good. It's a very impressive score because I've got the results here which say 71% of you are not using e-learning. I'm sharing the results with you. There you are. You can see the results yourself. 71% of the participants are not using e-learning, 25% are using e-learning, and 4% are not sure, and the house is packed. So here what I'll do is I'm going to channelize my discussion today to balance of e-learning and e-induction together. I hide the results now. So when we talk of e-learning, it's not again a Greek and Latin for you. The three words you need to know in e-learning. First and foremost, as you can see on your screen, it's called asynchronous. Asynchronous means any content which we have canned, we have created it and we have canned it and we have posted it online onto the web, or we have placed it on our comms, we have put on our mobile or anywhere the content is already resting. When we do that, that kind of a thing is called asynchronous, where irrespective of what time of day or night or whenever you want it, on demand the content is available for you. Next we look at something called synchronous. What is synchronous? Whatever is not asynchronous is synchronous. Here right now I'll give you a live example. We are in the middle of a webinar where all of us are actually discussing details about the webinar as we go by about induction. So this is a synchronous activity where I'm synchronized with you. We're going live. And as we go live, you're discussing, you're seeing, you're attending, you're viewing points, things happening. But what after this? After this, what's going to happen is I'm going to record this entire webinar. And after I record the webinar, I'm going to post it online for you to refer it at your convenience. When you refer to the webinar at your convenience, it is asynchronous for you. Right now, while you're with me, it is synchronous for you. Going ahead, there's something called blended. So what is blended? Of course, the first thing that is blended is cocktails, the mocktails, a lot of tails around. But right now, when we talk of blending, we're talking of blending the e-learning content. So when I use a combination of asynchronous and synchronous together for effectively delivering a message, a communication, or knowledge to a defined audience, that becomes blended. Now the trick here is how do you use the combination of how much of asynchronous and how much of synchronous. Once you got the formula right, you are into e-learning full time. Whether you talk of e-induction or talk of any other form of e-learning, these three important blocks will be there with you. Choosing judiciously and not getting carried away by just one type of e-learning is what is extremely critical. There's a question mark. You might be wondering what is the question mark doing here. The question mark is here because e-learning is a very nascent field. There is not a field which was there 20 years ago. The more the electronic platform started evolving, the more e-learning started evolving. Last 2 years have seen tremendous development, and if we don't keep pace in the next 2 years, we might be outpaced and we might be seen as old stone age. So it's very important for us to explore what are the other things coming in, and you might see more and better forms of e-learning evolving in the years to come. So keep pace and be focused. Now let's look at why do we need e-induction in our organization. On that note, I would like to do a quick, again, a show of hands. How many of you actually use e-induction in your organizations? How many of you are using e-induction in your organization? That's lovely. I got a few hands rising here. That's great, but very few nonetheless. It's okay if you're not using e-induction because you have not missed the bus. The thing is catching up pace, and today e-induction is the new buzzword. So if you're not using it, it is perfectly fine. You can jump on the bandwagon the next few months to come. And those of you who are using it, you can use this webinar for a refresher. Those of you who are not using it, find a reason if you should use it and how is it good for you. The first and foremost reason why e-induction is used is for better retention and recall. Induction programs, of course, I've been party to designing quite a few induction programs in the past. I've attended quite a few programs. I've been a guest on board many programs. Trust me, there are some very interesting variables which come in. At this juncture, I would like you to remember your first induction program. Your first induction program, all of your employees in companies. There was a day when you joined a company for the first time. How was it? Those of you who said it was a wow, enjoyable experience, please show your hands. Wow, enjoyable experience. I still remember it. I loved the induction. Great. Okay, I've got about some more hands coming up. Okay, some of you have removed your hands. Fine, it's a nice response. I'm very happy to hear see a warm response of almost 30% people saying it was enjoyable, because induction programs sometimes are fun, sometimes are boring, sometimes are informative, sometimes the management doesn't have time for us. So every company has got its own story to tell. But when we talk of e-induction, the objective is to ensure every employee gets the same response. He gets the same kind of feeling irrespective of where he is or what he is doing. And after induction, the retention and recall of whatever is provided to the person has to be very, very high. If a person is in an induction program, has participated in the program, and after going back, he's still figuring out what the company is, what it does, what are my policies, where do I get my leave forms, when do I get my salary, we lost the bus. So better recall and retention is very important. Effective utilization of time. On this note, I've been doing a bit of a study myself, and I found some very interesting facts. Many companies love to do induction programs, but they can't find time for it, which means the employees are in scattered locations. They are in various places. They are not able to come over before joining the company. So many a times induction happens after the person has joined the company, way after, sometimes 2 months or 3 months. So my point is, if you're inducting a person after 2 months, he is in a position to induct you now. He's got more tricks of the trade than the trade itself. So let's understand that utilization of time is very important. And through e-induction, we're able to give the right thing to the right person at the right time. Next, highly cost effective. Of late, whenever I've been talking to various companies and they talk about, okay, e-induction, what is it all about? How do you do it? And they also ask a question, so how much is it going to cost us? And when I discuss the price, I say between say 60,000 rupees to probably 5 lakh rupees, depends upon your requirement, how much of animation you want, and so on and so forth. In the initial talk, very costly. That's a common answer. I said, so what are you comparing it against? And then I realize the comparison is with apples and oranges. E-induction is very cost effective as long as you're aware what you want the content for, how much you want it developed, and how do you want to deploy it. We'll discuss cost effectiveness in the future slides. High level of engaged involvement of the participant. Now, any program is fantastic. Most of your trainers, you know it. It's fantastic only if my participants are engaged with me. If they're not engaged with me, if they're not connecting, like I'm doing a webinar, I'm going on singing a song, and most of you are in your own trip, then we lost it. But as long as you're showing hands, you're writing questions, you're giving me points, and you are also participating in the polls, we are engaging. Imagine this whole program in the form of a game, an activity, something which is online and you get the kick of doing. So you got the fun, you got engaged, and it is yours to do. You've done it yourself. Next, it has to be trainer proof. When you talk of trainer proof, various trainers do training programs in various ways, which means how much ever you standardize the training content, the ability of the trainer, the skill of the trainer has a very high impact on the quality and the level of the training program executed. By e-induction, we're able to standardize this to a very good extent. And what we have is a program which is trainer proof. If one trainer is doing in Delhi, second is doing Calcutta, we have a difference. But in e-learning, there's no difference. It's common for all. It's geography proof. Irrespective of where my employees are stationed, at the branch office, the head office, in Timbuktu, wherever they are, it doesn't matter as long as they're able to connect to the technology. We will have a fantastic experience of giving them the same e-learning based induction experience. Having said that about the benefits of e-learning and the e-induction, what is very important is e-induction the right thing for you? As an organization, is it the right thing for you? You need to be very clear about induction prior to planning e-induction. I've come across organizations which said we would like to start off with an e-induction in our company, a recent experience. And I said, okay, wow, that's great. So let me see what are you doing about induction. The gentleman says, sorry, we don't do induction right now. It was an emerging company in SME. I said, then how are your employees joining? The answer was simple. They come over and the manager in charge shows them around and the rest within a month they figure out. I said, great. So there's something called management by figuring it around as the kind of induction. A very painful sight. And I said, now when you want to go for e-induction, how do you plan to go about it? The answer was, you tell me. Now that's where I come in. It's not you tell me. We have to be very clear about induction prior to commencing e-induction. If my induction process or fundas are not clear, I have to brush them up first. Now the question is, do you have an induction program in place? A quick raise of hands. Let me see from you how many of you have induction programs in place in your organization. Some hands please. Yeah, that's good. I see some hands coming up fast. That's lovely. Wow, this is great. Some really exciting news, because I think 90% of you plus 90+% of you have said you have your induction program in place. That's great, because your first step is crossed. If your induction program is in place, you can explore e-induction. If not, get the induction first. Gaps in generic induction program. If you have an induction program in place, the question is, how effective is it and to what cadre of employees? If you're experiencing gaps in terms of, I'm doing the program but the people are not very happy with it, I'm inducting them but after induction the people are still little lost, or they come back asking the same questions what they asked earlier, and so on and so forth. If you're facing these kind of problems, then there are certain gaps. So whenever you induct employees, take a feedback of the employees inducted over the last 3 months, and if you feel you're not able to do geographic justice to their time and space, then you should explore e-induction. Geography we discussed. A very important angle is time of senior management. Many a times, or rather all organizations believe that the MD of the company and all the key people should speak to all the new inductees, give them a first-hand view of vision and make them comfortable. I'm also one such person who believes in that very seriously, and I make it a point to meet all my new employees firsthand. The question now is, how far can we go doing it? If I've got a lack of employees, maybe not even a lack, 1,000 employees or 5,000 employees, and I've got employees joining me say every month, can I effectively meet everybody? No, I can't. But e-induction helps you to can the management's message, or even if you're not canning it, you can convey the message online like what I'm doing right now. We got audiences all over the world right now. Participants from Europe are there, US are there. It's night for them, still they're there. We got Indian participants, and what we're saying is all of us are connecting live. So we are real time, and similarly senior management time can be real time if you're able to use e-induction. Efficiency of trainer, a very important thing what we discussed. Localization concerns. And now this is something very interesting I came across when I was talking to my friends in the finance business. Ever-changing policies needing to be communicated at induction. Policies change between the time a person leaves a previous company and joins a new company. Maybe SEBI policies, SEBI guidelines, maybe RBI policies for them. Every industry has got its own policies. Now, if I make an induction program and if I'm not able to communicate the policies effectively in the person is joining, we have missed the bus. So e-induction helps you to be live with the latest policies. A very important angle, the duration of the induction programs. How much is too much? I have seen induction programs running for exactly 2 hours, where start hour 1, hour 2, induction program over. I have seen induction program running for 15 days, 15 days. It's an IT company which does a 15-day induction for its freshers. Of course, they teach a lot of IT stuff in it. Now, between 2 hours to 15 days, we have a lot of span. Identifying what is the right duration of induction program, and if you're not able to bring your employees to the induction table for that duration, if you say 4 hours is what I want, but 4 hours is what I don't get, that's when e-induction jumps to the picture. By using synchronous and asynchronous tool, you're able to do justice to it. Choosing the right type of e-induction for your organization, very important. Let's understand what are the types of induction programs which are there on the platter for you, which you can choose from any vendor. First and foremost is an interactive induction program. In the interactive induction program, we talk about either mostly asynchronous, partly synchronous, where every time a participant is sitting in front of the computer, uses his password, logs in, the person can hear something, see something, and the person has to type in, click through. The person is interacting with the technology to educate himself or learn from it. Now, this is the most common part of or type of interactive induction programs. And even in the induction programs, interactivity takes about 70 to 80% of the kind of induction programs what we normally make for people and what are normally used. Game-based induction programs. Now, this is something which is talked a lot about but practiced little. Game-based induction program is when you take your entire induction program and convert it into a game. You make it into a game where something like a cricket or a polo or a rugby or a football or even something like a Ferrari racing or anything, you can take a game and design your induction program in the form of a game where the person is effectively playing a game online and is also learning with it. It's a little difficult to design, but once implemented, the fun element is very high, and this is something many companies are exploring. It is still a lot in beta and exploration stage, and not much is seen in the market as of now. Maybe in the next 6 months, we'll see a lot of action on this front. Narrative induction programs. I've seen companies which have got a peculiar problem. I've got employees, but our work nature is such that we don't give one comp to everybody. They don't give computers to all. Maybe they're factories, they've got workers, they've got other people. What they say is, why don't we do something in the form of a CD, which I can play it for my staff while they're sitting in a particular hall or in the location? Possible. In this, the entire thing is in the form of a narration where the people sit in the place, visualize it, view it, and the entire induction happens as a one-way traffic. Interactivity is zero. This is something I never promote until unless it's a majburi and they're supposed to go through it. This is my beloved one, blended induction program, where smart companies where HR professionals are very smart and they are designing induction programs the way they want it. So what they do is they blend a combination of interpersonal live interaction along with asynchronous content online, along with synchronized interface over Skype or GoToMeeting, etc. And this whole combination is planned out in a fashion that any place where an emotional touch is to be given or a physical presence is required, like a factory visit, it is done in person. Where a content is to be read by the person, it's placed online. Where only communication is required, there is a synchronized communication. All this put together give us a blended induction program, and blended induction programs are the future as we see them to be. Talking about e-induction for employees, we sometimes forget that employees are not the only people in an organization who need to be inducted. There are quite a few more very important people. E-induction is not just for employees, but for every employee, e-induction is very useful. And induction, especially e-induction, is very useful for contract staff. People who are coming to join you for a very short period of time. Many times it's not worth it to spend a lot of time, efforts, money and in inducting contract staff. E-induction, specifically asynchronous, is very useful in this context. Channel partners. Most of you will be working or rather are working with companies which have got a lot of dealers, distributors, vendors and a lot of channels. In this line, what we see is channel partner induction plays a very critical role in defining how the channel partners associate with you and how they go about working with you as per your policies. Vendors and clients, we know that. Members associates, again a very important element. So if you're in an industry which has got any or more of these aspects, as in like you got members, you got vendors, you got channel partners, explore options of inducting them also, and e-induction becomes quite feasible and economical for you. The message is loud and clear here. Better the induction, better the business. Because more induction, I would mean the good quality induction ensures good quality interaction, ensures smarter business. If you don't induct a person well, you will not know at that point of time, but by the time you know, it might be too late. Talking about e-induction, what should you do now? What are the prerequisites? Even if you think about it, what is it that you need to do right now? First, we discussed about induction. I said how many of you want to exploring induction, how many of you are doing induction. On those lines, be absolutely clear about the reasons for opting for e-induction. If you don't have a reason, I'll show you a very interesting example here. When you walk into any airport today, or you walk into any good technology store like a Chroma or something, you will see people buying tabs, tablet computers, tabs. And I always wondered, the person buying a tab, what is the fundamental reason for the person buying it? And then you will realize, what is he going to do with the tab? The fun part is, many of them buy tabs and so-called advanced mobility, the mobiles, just for the fun of it, or the kick of it, or the snob value of it. I have seen at least 10 people who are carrying a tab like a brick in the hands, but they don't actually do anything on it apart from checking emails, posting Facebook messages, and playing games. The same thing can be done on any mobile phone or on the laptop. Now, if you are thinking of e-induction, and if you don't have a fundamental reason, your induction program, the e-induction, will end up like a tab or a brick in your hand. So don't do it. Let's be fundamentally clear why you need the e-induction, and define the exact e-induction approach that best suits your context, at most critical. Another angle, not every employee is same in a company. You got people across cadres, across functions, across divisions, across geographies, across various strata. So you should be very clear for whom you want to use e-induction and of what type, and what is best suited for them in their context. Develop an induction plan and roadmap, and only after that should you explore taking on e-induction. And my clear message here is that e-induction cannot set right a faulty induction policy. If you don't have proper induction mechanism and you bring in an e-induction, what you have done is you have put your induction on display, so everything gets magnified. Good gets better, bad gets worse. Let's explore more options. What to outsource and what not to outsource in e-induction. Whenever I talk of e-induction, first thing which happens is many companies wonder, can I do it in-house? Whom should I talk to? What kind of a companies do induction? Should I be talking to the HR companies? Should I be talking to the IT companies? Should I be talking to the companies which are into international IT services? Many are there. First of all, outsource the development process if you have to, because the company will have the right amount of technology and the ability to develop it if you don't have it in-house. But all the facts and pictures and videos, etc., need to be yours. So if you're using graphics in your e-learning process, the graphics have to be from your company, the images have to be yours. And in some companies, I mean in most companies that I'm talking to, I tell them, why not use the voiceover of your employees? Why not use jingles made by your people in certain cases? And the response is phenomenal, because when it's made by your team for your team, the bonding is phenomenal. As I mentioned, give a team a chance to contribute. You can outsource maintenance and support to be hassle free, because induction program is not a one-off. I buy it off the shelf and keep it. It is something which requires constant changing, corrections, fine tuning, replaying, etc. So on those lines, any maintenance support you can outsource it, but designing the induction program is something I always recommend to be kept in-house. How do you choose the right induction partner to do all this stuff? First of all, if you have it in you, do it yourself. There's no need to outsource something where you got a talent, technology, ability, which means if your HR department is able to come out with the content, you have an IT team strong enough to develop the right technology, and you got people you can spare to maintain it. If you have these three combinations and you're sure the management's blessings are with you, that they won't take away any of these from you, then go ahead and you should do it yourself. It's your induction, you can do it. But if any of these things are not with you, outsource it to a partner who can give it for you. Because if you're doing a namesake e-induction, I've seen a few induction programs, I did not know whether to laugh or to cry at the quality of the e-induction. They were made like slide screens. There's a voiceover and there's a voice coming and the person is reading on the slide and it's going on and on. And I was wondering, now instead of reading a manual, I'm sitting and reading a screen. So how has it changed my world? So e-induction works wonders only if the employee is engaged. He is interacting with you, he's having fun with it, and is able to connect properly with it. Moving further, when you're choosing an e-induction company or an e-learning company or an IT company for e-induction, certain fundamentals are very important. Now, this is, I'm not saying I have it or I don't have it. I'm saying as professionals, you should be aware of it. The first thing is they have to have an expertise in induction program. A company which has an understanding of what induction is, because recently I had a very funny experience. A gentleman wrote a mail to me. So how much does the induction package cost? I said, what package? He said, no, the induction program, the induction software. I said, am I selling software? In a way, yes. In a way, no. So we're not selling software. How can I have a software which does your induction? And then I realized the person had a skewed opinion about the induction programs. For him, it was something you can buy off the shelf. Now, no induction program off the shelf can help you. It's always best developed, customized, custom built for your company. Relevant software. Now, all of you, I mean, I've gone through a list of participants today. All of you are coming from reputed companies. I mean, all the companies I've got today as participants are the names in the industries. Would you want to buy your induction program developed by somebody who is using unlicensed software? If I were me, I would not. So ensure that the companies which are developing are using licensed software and it is not further subcontracted. Many times we all go by the brand names. So a brand takes up a project, gives it to some small party who is sitting in some shady hole and doing some work and giving it to you product developed on unlicensed software. I don't think it's an ethical practice. And there are companies which are in the business of e-learning, and e-learning globally for some time was, of course, it's doing well now, was not doing well. And then when something is not well, you start expanding. Let me do induction, let me do this, let me do sales, let me do soft skills. So if you are giving business to a company, let that be core to the company. If you're giving e-induction business to a company for whom e-induction is an add-on, हम ये भी करते हैं, वो भी करते हैं, वो भी करते हैं और इंडक्शन भी कर लेते हैं. So I have a dialogue which I say कि my life cannot be an option for you. My life has to be your life. So if you're giving your work to a company, let e-induction be the thing they do. And custom develop demos and modules with as per your specific requirement. I've seen companies who say, I've got these 5 characters, choose one. I've got these 5 designs, choose one. If I have to choose from 5, why would I even go to you? I might as well choose it off the computer itself. So if you have a business process, companies need to have, like we have it and the many companies have it, the ability to completely customize your induction program with a lot of animation, caricatures, movies, games, animation movies. It can be done. It's possible and not very costly. So strong animation plus good programming and gaming skills plus an ability to integrate voice with graphics with animation and the host of things to give you an experience. So if your employee once he's put on the induction program, if he's not experiencing a joy, a kick out of it, we have missed the bus. I spoke to you about what a prospective e-learning partner needs to have. Now I will talk to you about what an e-learning partner need not have. First thing is a huge size. Size does matter in a lot of businesses, but not in e-induction. As long as there is a set of people who got the right ability, technology, knowledge, and the content, and they're able to relate to what you want and giving you what you want, we have achieved a purpose. Size is irrelevant in this context. You need not have your e-learning partner or the e-induction partner next door. Suppose I am based in Bangalore today. There's a company based in say Bombay. They're not worried कि this guy is sitting in Bangalore, can he service me or not, because it's all technology driven. And as long as I'm understanding it, I'm in synchronized connect with you. Anybody can offer good e-induction solutions to you irrespective of wherever they are across the globe. So be comfortable with that. Second, having experience in developing e-induction programs for someone in your industry. There was a very interesting experience a colleague of mine went through just about, I think, in the last 48 hours. She went to meet a gentleman, and the first thing the gentleman asked, it was a finance industry. So, which companies do you work in the financial sector with? And then when she thought through, now why is it important? The gentleman was asking because he wants to be comfortable that the company is talking to has got experience in dealing with his industry. But the catch is, Even if I've done e-induction programs for 20 companies in your industry, it doesn't add value as long as I don't understand what exactly you require and I'm able to give the content to you the way you want it. So, industry experience is irrelevant. Does the person have the wherewithals to bring you various aspects of inductions which you have not thought through or seen through as of now? Have been in e-learning for a long time. Not important. It doesn't matter. Like in the movie Wanted, yeah, there's a dialogue. When you come is not important. Similarly, in the e-induction business, it's even more funnier. Even if I've been here for donkey's years, it's of no use to you because the technology used, the technology available, both are changing by the day. Today, I'm only as good as how smart have I been in the last 6 months. Have I been alive or not? Even if I was there for last 10 years, I was not there for last 10 years. In the last 6 months, the best technology coming in, have I taken advantage of it? Yes or no? So companies which are updated, which are up to date with the latest technology, the e-learning suites, what kind of SCOM compliant technologies have they got? That is something you should always look at and not the years they have been. Going forward, many of us right now might be feeling, I don't need induction. I will not do a show of hands right now because it will not be appropriate. But if you feel you don't need induction, why will you be feeling it? It is possible that you're happy with the current induction programs. The way things are with you right now, you got employees in one location, they're very happy being inducted. Your process is fantastic and everything is great. Then learn about induction, know what is happening regularly, be in tune with the world, but don't try to jump onto it till you get a strong reason to believe that yes, now I need induction to take care of this particular aspect of mine. On this note, I've got a quick poll. I think you all have been listening to me for quite some time. Let me get you engaging. Okay, I'm launching a poll. What is the most critical? What I call it the most critical challenge when we talk of induction? Here's the poll. The poll is on. Let me see some numbers coming up. Interesting. Very interesting. Some of you are still thinking. Quite a few of you have voted. Now, this is turning out to be like an audience poll of KBC because when a question is tough, you know what the audience does. It gives you balanced percentages. And the percentages are so balanced that I'm tempted to close the poll. Another 5 seconds. Any of you making up your mind, please do that. Lovely. Okay. I close the poll and here I share the results with you. Very interesting. 25% feel the management's interest in induction itself is a big concern. If that's a concern for you, you're dealing with a much bigger concern than e-induction. Management's blessings are very important for induction and e-induction. You need to work with them to give them the value proposition of induction programs per se. Probably you can bring in e-induction now, which they might feel it attractive or attentive enough. Geographical constraints is one big problem we deal with in many companies. I totally agree with you. Budgets are a constraint, yes, but now is the time to look at what budgets are we talking about because I've got a very interesting fact to share with you. You tell me a budget, I got a program for you, which means if you got peanuts for budgets, we can do an induction program with peanuts using e-induction. That's the beauty of things. Quality of HR team in the organization, sometimes it's a concern. You should go in for induction immediately because if you don't go through, things can deteriorate. Other factors, okay, there are more factors to it. We can discuss it offline some other time. Pretty interesting. I'm hiding the results now and we move back into our mainstream points. Thank you very much for the wonderful poll, what you shared with me. And here is the point, management won't agree on cost. Don't have a formal induction program and don't need it. Now, this is something which you will hear not in large corporates or medium corporates, but with SMEs. I've had the good fortune of working with, rather consulting with quite a few small and medium enterprises where the owner has set up the company firsthand. He's a first gen entrepreneur and the person doesn't believe in induction. He says, I am standing here to teach you. What do you want in induction? I don't have answers for it. My only thing to them was the day you become large and things have to go hands off, your problems will start. Here is the googly for you. Whenever you have any of these 4 points mentioned above, you don't need or you think your company doesn't deserve. In my opinion, every company today deserves to be abreast with technology, with the latest happenings in the world, and e-induction is a next gen thing for a company to show that it is tech savvy, modern, and is in real time. A quick fact or a quick opinion cost benefit analysis. Now, any of you who attempts to take this forward and wants to talk to management, the first thing they'll ask you is how much is it going to cost me? Now, cost is again a very relative factor here, subject to the kind of induction program you're looking at. It's very important for you to have budget allocations. So do a thorough analysis in terms of what kind of induction program you would need for your organization. And to do that kind of induction program, what kind of resources are required. Feel free to connect with us. I think some of you have received emails from my colleague Hema, and some of you have been in touch with my colleague Kavita. Both of them are very senior employees in their organization. Irrespective of whether you intend to work with us or not, that's not important here. Anytime you want any inputs from us in terms of how do you do a cost benefit analysis, how do you do a cost benefit analysis, how do you make a budget, how do you plan an induction program, it's completely free. They will guide you or they'll give you inputs in terms of what kind of induction program or e-induction is best suited for you. Work with clear project plans, because e-induction is something like buying a dress for a wedding. You can go on and on and on and splurge millions of rupees and still not be happy about it. As long as you're clear what for you're doing it, the joy is there in it. A very important angle which you need to explore, which many people miss, is cost of development versus opportunity cost. If I'm spending a lakh and a half, as an example, on developing my e-induction program, I need to see, by not having an effective e-induction program, what is the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is if there are 20 employees joining every month and those 20 employees are getting a half-baked induction program. So am I doing any good for them? Think it through, you realize the damage. And if you want more inputs, you should talk to your managers who are leading these teams. They'll tell you exactly where the gaps come in. After you've done your induction budgets, and if it is coming into a few lakhs of rupees, always break it up into per person cost allocation. If 100 employees are joining your company in a year and say a lakh of rupees is spent on induction, all you're doing is spending 1,000 rupees per person, which is nothing compared to his airfare or even a stay a night in a Bombay or a Bangalore hotel. So if you see the per person cost goes down drastically, always use this measure when you're proposing it to the management. Intangible benefit. Now, everybody who joins a company likes to be seen as joining a tech savvy company, likes to be connected. On those lines, you have a lot of confidence boosting which happens. Direct impact on the performance of the new joiners, which is but obvious. So with these points, I'm sure you're very clear by now in terms of what kind of induction program you require, how is the induction program going to sync with you, what kind of a technology partner you should choose, and what should you look for when you're planning a technology partner. Before I proceed further, here is something I got to say. When you go to buy a fruit from a fruit seller, if you realize the person is always eager to slice open a fruit and give it to you for tasting. He doesn't say, look at the color and buy my oranges. He's happy to open up the orange. Now, similarly, you can never gauge an orange's flavor by looking at it. Induction programs are such things. You can never gauge the e-induction till you get your own customized demo. Any technology partner you're working with, feel free to ask for a custom developed demo. We always develop customized demos and look at the demo. If it is in sync with you, go ahead and take it forward. While you're taking forward, how much is too much? Now, here is something I would like to caution you. Learn with fun, but learning is not an option. Fun always is. If you have a very boring induction program and the people are still learning, it's okay. But if you have a very enthusiastic, engaging induction program, but the people are not learning, we are doomed. So use technology like gaming, engaging, interactivity with a clear purpose of boosting learning and not just for the fun of it. Always use non-addictive game options. For example, if any of you chooses to use the concept of Angry Birds kind of a project, you know Angry Birds, it's a very common addictive game. And if you use a theme like that and build your induction, what's going to happen is a person will go on playing Angry Birds kind of a theme, and he'll be an expert with some high score levels. And if you ask me, so friend, what have you learned? Then he'll start racking his brains. What has he learned? You don't want to know the answer then. The level of interaction or interactivity always needs to be mapped with the caliber of the new joiners. So if my new joiners are freshers out of a college, the hyper engagement is suggested. If my new joiners at the managerial level are a very deep rooted problem solving game based activity is suggested. If my new joiners are at a VP or a senior vice president level, it has to be in a very mature form where they're comfortable engaging for about half an hour online, then putting the thoughts together, sending information back, and a combination of synchronous and asynchronous. A few step-by-step approaches to induction. First and foremost, as I mentioned earlier, understand your induction needs clearly. Very first step. If you have not understood your needs, don't proceed. After you've understood your needs, exactly this is the need I want to address. Geographical constraint, budgets, people, process, whatever it is, once you're very clear why you want to go for induction, step two, what options are available and what are pros and cons of each. Do I go for a game based? Do I go for interactivity? Do I go for blended? Choose the right option judiciously. After that, the most appropriate induction approach, followed by choosing the right technology partner. Before you choose a technology partner, always attempt it. Do it yourself. Can I do it myself in my company? Only when the answer is no, I don't have the right technology or the right expertise or the right support mechanism. You're very clear about it, or you know you have it but can't sustain it. That is when you should approach a technology company or an e-learning company or an e-induction company with a clear specific requirement. Once the chosen partner, I'm not going deep into choosing a partner, because you have your own evaluation mechanisms. You'll be choosing a partner and the partner develops it for you. Always beta test the induction program. Never attempt to directly roll out a program into or rather to the new joiners without testing it. Always test it on people who have joined recently in the last 3 months, 2 months, or 1 month, and they'll be able to give you a right feedback in terms of whether they find a difference or they don't find a difference. It's very easy to start an e-induction program. All you have to do is find the right reasons, find the right partner, go ahead, pick up the stuff, and you are in. You have bought it, you have placed it, and your team is running it. It'll end up like a tab. I'll give you the example of, if you don't have a clear, very clear sustenance path forward. It is not a one-off off-the-shelf solution. You need to ensure that implementation is appropriate and continuous improvisation and upgrades happen, which means today you've taken an induction program. Every month or 2 months, you need to constantly update it with latest pictures, latest information, latest facts, people joining in, MD's message. It has to be live. If it is not live, we've lost it. If you don't have anything to improve, there are certain companies which are pretty standard. They don't have much to talk about on such a very fast level, or nothing changes in my company every 2 months is what you say. Great. At least change the skins of the induction program. The way we change the covers of our laptops, or we change the screensavers, it's very important to change the skins or the themes. Whenever we do induction programs for companies, we offer anything between 5 to 10 themes along with the induction for the company to choose, so that every month or 2 months they're able to keep on giving some fresh look to it. Also ensure that it is somebody's business. If you say induction is my HR team's responsibility, you know what happens when everybody's business is nobody's business. Always ensure that e-induction is in the hands of one person accountable, and the person is supported by a strong team in-house or offsite. Also, after you rolled out e-induction, the effectiveness is very important. Ensure that you're able to take the feedback from the new joiners as well as their managers, whether the induction is effective or not. The e-induction might be engaging, joyous, fun-filled, etc. But the induction itself, if it is not effective, we have missed the bus. Ensure that every manager feels the person in front of me knows the company, knows the values, knows the policies, and is ready to execute work the way we want it. Last and very, very, very important point. Now, this is more like a googly here. Many a times we're conditioned to doing things. I'll tell you what I mean by conditioning. All of us are conditioned to reading books. Now, what do? We read e-books. I've seen people reading books on a screen. So, what has actually changed? Okay, I don't need to carry 10 books, I can carry one book. Then I realized, am I using my technology effectively? The same book, if it's in the form of an audio visual with some multimedia in front of me, the graphics changing, and voiceover with a nice accent coming into my ears, my retention is much faster. The reading or so called reading is much joyous, and I can multitask. Now, that's the whole catch here. E-induction need not be rolled out like the typical induction program. For starters, the e-induction program can start way before an employee joins. A module or a couple of modules can be provided to the person on his appointment itself. Okay, when you come to join, before that, at your free time, log in using your password. These are the modules. Get to know about us. Take a quick test. We'll know what you're doing. Second, the entire e-induction program can be broken down into modules of half an hour, 1 hour, or however you want it. And they can be rolled out way before the employee joins to way after the employee joins. So during the joining, you're doing certain modules. After joining a week or so, a certain module can be rolled out. Maybe after a month, a synchronous module can be rolled out. And this way, we are spreading out the entire induction process over time and giving the person something to absorb and retain as and when he wants it. For example, if a person has been offered a job in your company from a different industry, so you can give him the modules about your industry and your organization, the general information way before he joins. So whenever he's having a free time during his notice period, he can pick up things, work on things, Google up on stuff, and he can take up the induction test and comes prepared. You can tell him about your management team, the HR policies, etc. on the day of joining or the days of joining. You can give him stuff to Google up and read up also, so the person is engaged. After that, a week after the person joins, you can do a quick quiz or a test or a game. A game is even interesting on the org structure. How many faces does it recognize? There's a company which does that. So they introduce the person to a lot of people online because there are a lot of managers the person needs to know. And what they do is after a week, they do a quick quiz. So there's a face which pops up and the person needs to use, it's a particular game they play, a video game, and the person needs to get as many names right, as many faces right. So there's a game and a fun at the same time there is learning. And what a fantastic way, what better way to retain names and faces than this. And it's going to go on and on. Right now, my time is getting short, so I will not keep you long. But what I intend to say is e-learning is a fantastic world and e-induction is one such cherry on the cake. Explore it, look up to it, read up about it, see the demos on the sites, including ours. And if you like to talk about it at any point of time, do give us a buzz. We're always there for you and we'll catch up with you. With this, I would like to conclude my program. Before that, a quick poll I would like to run with you. Give me a minute more. Here's a quick poll for you. All of you have been very attentive. I've seen that you were always responding and points were coming up.